If you like this video, please press the subscribe button to subscribe to this channel, and also give it a thumbs up. The notion that life spontaneously and naturalistically developed from non-living chemicals, also known as abiogenesis, is an absolute necessity of an atheistic worldview. When you see the material in any media by evolutionists on topic, the impression is given that all you need is the right conditions and poof, life is guaranteed to arise. In fact, this is the main idea behind the notion of the existence of alien civilizations in space. The notion is that with all the trillions of stars and planets that exist in the universe, life must have developed on another planet someplace. Whenever efforts are made to calculate these odds, the main objection raised by evolutionists is the notion that life was simpler in the past. This is primarily a way of shutting down any calculations based on life that actually exists on Earth. Furthermore, has generally made this claim is vague enough that it can be used to attack any calculations that may be offered. Fortunately, however, we have discovered what the minimum necessity for a living cell is. Biologists stripped down a cell and its genome to the absolute minimum they could without killing the cell. Because of this, we have real evidence as to what the simplest possible cell that is not a parasite can actually be like. This effectively silences the claim that cells were simpler in the past, because here we have evidence that this is as simple as a cell can be without being parasitic. Jumping to a parasitic cell wouldn't help because they would need a host cell that is at least as complex as this memory. Having the glorious and highly imaginative name of JCVI-CYN 3.0, this artificial species has a genome that has been reduced to the bare minimum necessary to survive. Its genome consists of just 531,490 base pairs with just 438 protein coding genes. This is a sufficiently large genome for an average protein length of more than 500 amino acids. To give abiogenesis as good of a chance as possible, we will assume that the average protein length is just 50 amino acids. Furthermore, we are going to assume a billion potentially functional proteins, which are actually 2 orders of magnitude above the 10 million or so that are thought to be all that is used by life on Earth. This artificially raises the number of viable proteins to select from, once again to give abiogenesis the best possible chance to be shown workable. Starting with proteins consisting of 50 amino acids, of which there is a possibility of 20 amino acids that can be used, there are 20 to the 50th or 1.259 times 10 to the 65th power possible combinations. Given our highly exaggerated assumption of a billion functional proteins, the odds of getting a functional protein are 1 in 1.59 times 10 to the 56. Now, by themselves, these are not encouraging odds, but at least theoretically, they are within the range of possibility. However, this ignores the fact that you need to do this 438 times. This means that the odds of getting 438 functional proteins are 1 in 1.259 times 10 to the 56th power to the 438th power, or 1 in 3.6 times 10 to the 24,550th power. This is where we really start running into problems, even if you assume the Big Bang with a 13.5 billion year timeline. Even given all this time, there can only be 7.9 times 10 to the 150th possible events in the entire history of the universe, which is still tens of thousands of orders of magnitude smaller than these odds. This makes the odds of just getting 438 functional proteins statistically impossible. However, when you include DNA, the problem gets even worse. Given the fact that each amino acid is encoded for by 3 base pairs, a 50 amino acid protein would require 150 base pairs consisting of 4 possible nucleotides. This results in 4 to the 150th or 2 times 10 to the 90th possible combinations. This means that the odds of getting any particular protein by the DNA are 1 in 2 times 10 to the 90th times 150 divided by 531,490, or 1 in 5.75 times 10 to the 86th. However, you have to do this 438 times, resulting in the odds of encoding all of the amino acids being 1 in 5 times 10 to the 38,000. When this is combined with the odds of getting all the functional proteins to begin with, we get odds of 1 in 5 times 10 to the 38,000 times 3.6 times 8 to the 24,550, or 1 in 1.8 times 10 to the 62,551. This shows that the odds of getting this much are statistically impossible, and it doesn't include further assembly of the various proteins into a functional system. Now, evolutionists can always claim, without evidence, that the original life was even simpler. This is what it takes to actually get within the range that is theoretically possible of the 7.9 times 10 to the 150th possible events in the entire Big Bang history of the universe. The problem is that it would take only 2 proteins of a length of 50 amino acids to have more possible combinations than the total number of possible events in the universe. The maximum statistical possible case. Remember, this is way too small to be plausible. You can extend the total number of proteins by reducing their length, but the best you can do would be 14 proteins with a length of 15 amino acids. This results in odds of 1 in 1.6455 times 10 to the 147th, but this is still really pushing it, along with the fact that there is no evidence that such a simple cell could actually survive, and most likely would not. Now, the estimated number of planets in the universe is 7 times 10 to the 20th. So to make abiogenesis probable enough to occur on at least one planet would require simplifying a cell to 14 proteins with a length of just 8 amino acids. This results in odds of 1 in 5.2 times 10 to the 19th of life occurring. While this makes it statistically possible for there to be one planet in the entire universe with life on it, there is absolutely no evidence whatsoever that this could produce a viable cell, and in fact, the evidence goes against it. The best just so story to try to get around these odds is to claim that it happens in steps. While this would reduce the odds, it requires a mechanism for preserving positive results and getting rid of negative ones. However, no such mechanism exists, nor could they produce one because one of the requirements is no intent or goal. This means that you can have no prebiotic system capable of doing the job because anything that meets this requirement does not solve the problem. As a result, the conclusion can only be that abiogenesis is statistically incapable of bringing the odds of producing a living cell to even remotely reasonable levels of probability. It requires reducing the cell to any known point possibly of actually being living. Now, it is hypothetically possible that there could be some yet unknown factor out there, but that can always be claimed regardless of the facts.